A warm good morning to all my dear students. Once again, I am back with video clip on the second factor which empowers women, and this factor is highlighted in the speech The 3 L's of Empowerment by Christine Lagarde. I have already explained the first factor which empowers women. The first factor is learning. Now I will discuss the second factor which helps a woman to be empowered. The second factor is labor. She says labor facilitates a woman to flourish and realize her true potential. We all know how labor helps a woman to stand on her own feet. It helps a woman to be self-reliant. It helps a woman to be economically or financially independent. As our former president, Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam, he has rightly stated that self-respect comes from self-reliance. A woman has dignity, or a woman realizes that she has dignity when she is empowered, and definitely labor will help her to have that dignity, to have that self-respect, because an economically independent woman is a self-reliant person. But in the present scenario, most of the women have to depend on the menfolk in the family for their simple basic needs. This is a serious issue in our society. An empowered woman is definitely an economically independent or financially independent person. So labor is a very important factor which empowers women in our society. Now I shall move on to the text. Please listen to this reading. If learning is just the first step, labor is the second. Labor facilitates women to flourish and achieve their true potential. But at present, when women participate in the workforce, they too often tend to get stuck in low-paying, low-status, and low-security jobs. Globally, women earn only 3/4 as much as men, even with the same level of education and in the same occupation. Surely, one of our most basic norms should be equal pay for equal work. Recent researchers show that eliminating gender gaps in economic participation can bring an increase in per capita income. So, in this part of her speech, she highlights the importance of labor in empowering women. She says labor helps a woman to flourish. It helps a woman to realize her true potential. In these days, women get jobs, but they tend to get stuck in low-paying, low-status, and low-security jobs. First, we shall deal with the expression low-paying jobs. Even though most of the women have equal educational qualification, even though most of the women have equal qualification, they do not get equal wages for the same work. Men get high wages job. Men are highly paid, but women do not get the same wages. This is an issue, and this is discussed by Christine Lagarde in her speech. So she says our norm should be equal wages for equal work. This will definitely increase the per capita income of a nation. Moving to the second issue. Women tend to get stuck in low status jobs. Just think about the jobs that both men and women get. Just think about the jobs. Whenever we think about a doctor, whenever we think about a professor, whenever we think about a manager, an executive officer, chief executive officer of a company, etc., etc., the first image or the images that come to our mind or the images which are registered in our minds are male-centered. We consider the doctor as a male doctor. We consider the manager as a male manager. We consider the professor as a male professor, whereas jobs like that of a nurse, we often consider the nurse as a female nurse. We often consider the teacher as a female teacher. Just think about primary school teacher, high school teacher, higher secondary teacher. We consider them as female teachers. Whereas when you think about professors, we often consider them as men. The images which are registered in our minds are male-centered images. So this is another issue. Women tend to get stuck in low status jobs. This has to be changed. The attitude of the society has to be changed. Both men and women have the same right for high status jobs. And the third issue related to this is low security jobs. Women tend to get stuck in low security jobs. Most of the women in our society, they work in unorganized sector. If the authorities, if the management, if they do not find the performance of these women satisfactory, definitely these persons will be fired. That means there is no security for jobs. This is another important issue. If we eliminate all these discrimination against women in places of work, the per capita income of nations will definitely increase. So this issue has to be addressed very seriously by the policymakers, authorities, governments, etc. Then definitely women can be empowered. Now I shall move on to the next paragraph. I shall read the next paragraph, which also speaks about the importance of labor in empowering women. We can undoubtedly promote more opportunity for women in the workplace. It is all about changing laws. For example, by ensuring that property and inheritance laws do not discriminate against women. It also means policies that encourage education and healthcare. Moreover, we need to provide greater access to credit so that women can achieve greater economic independence. So learning and labor are key factors. So in the next paragraph, she speaks about another important aspect, another important area, another important topic. She says, if discrimination against women in workplace can be eliminated, if discrimination against women with regard to certain laws can be eliminated, they will start enjoying equal opportunities in the work sector, in the job sector. They will also get equal opportunities. Most of the inheritance laws, most of the property laws discriminate against women. So what do you mean by inheritance laws? The laws which give right to a person to own the possession of their parents, especially after their death. This is inheritance law, and most of the inheritance laws and most of the property laws discriminate against women in our society, in our country. This has to be changed. Just take an example. A father has two children. He has a factory or an estate. When the father dies, most probably the property will be inherited by, the estate will be inherited by the male child, which clearly speaks about the discrimination against women in our country, women in our society. This has to be changed. More women-specific legislations should be there to ensure that there is no discrimination against women in all these areas with regard to property and inheritance laws, with regard to the discrimination in workplaces. Policymakers, they have to see that there is no discrimination against women with regard to health care and education. Another important area which has to be addressed seriously by various governments and policymakers is that women should be given access to loans. They should be given access to loans, to credit. What do you mean by the word access? Access means the right to use or the right or opportunity to use something or to have something. Here, they should have the right to have credit. They should have the right to have loans. They should get loans so that they can invest that money in small-scale industries, in livestock rearing, in small businesses, etc. And this will definitely help women to stand on their own feet, help women to be self-reliant, help women to be economically or financially independent. So here Christine Lagarde says learning is very important and labor is the second step to empowerment. There are so many flagship programs by various governments like Mahatma Gandhi National Rural Employment Guarantee Scheme, and another important program is the introduction of Mudra Bank. Then organizations like Kudumbashree. All these empower women. Mahatma Gandhi National Employment Guarantee Scheme ensures labor for women in our country, labor for people in the rural part of our country. This empowers both men and women, and most importantly, women in the rural areas, women who belong to the lowest sections in the society, women who belong to the lowest rung of the social ladder. Mudra Bank, it gives loans to women at low interest. That is another important step which helps women to be empowered in our society. Moving to the next one, Kudumbashree. How Kudumbashree helps women in our state. Kudumbashree helps women to be empowered. It provides a variety of jobs for women in our society. It provides a variety of employment opportunities. It provides small loans to the women in our society, women in the rural areas of our society, which definitely empower them. So labor is a very important factor which can empower women in the society, which can make them self-reliant, which can help them to be financially or economically independent. They can stand on their own feet. This is a very important step to empowerment. So, prepare a newspaper article on how the various programs like Mahatma Gandhi National Employment Guarantee Scheme and organizations like Kudumbasri help women in the rural areas of our country to be empowered. That's all for the day. Thank you.